miles like it did. So
I'm trying.
wait a minute.
Oh
Wait a
my
minute. Wait a minute.
God.
Wait a minute.
As 2025 comes to an end, Zach and I want to go over some of our favorite watches that came out this calendar year.
Rob and I have come up with our top 5 picks for you. But before we get into them, let's talk about what we've got on our wrist today. So, Rob, what are you wearing today?
I am wearing my Rolex Sea Dweller.
And I'm wearing the Ball Trainmaster Cleveland Express. So we're going to do these in reverse order. Rob, what was your number 5 pick for the year?
Zach, my number 5 pick would have to be the new tag that I picked up. Got it recently at a tag event that was held here in Wilmington. And it is the black and red and white dial Formula One. It's the new one they came out with. The original one came out back in the 80s. I think 86 may have been when it came out. Mm-hmm. And my mind immediately, when I heard about them coming back out with this watch and what they're doing with Formula One, my mind went to being a teenager on the basketball court in the neighborhood I grew up in, and we would all play basketball like every afternoon together, or football, and man, it was a lot of fun. But the one memory I have from that time frame was somebody bought that original watch, man, and it was so cool because I really, really wanted that watch. And then I started talking to my buddies, and everybody wanted that watch, but it was just out of the price of all of us broke teenage kids, so we couldn't do it. But I was glad to pick it up. This is a different size. This is actually a totally different watch than what the original ones were. But this has that cooler Solargraph quartz in it. It's a 38K size, which is a little bit bigger than the original ones, which I was glad to see. But it's just a cool watch to me, and if you're a race fan, it's definitely an awesome watch. And that Solargraph is a definitely a cool additive. Priced around $2,000, I think $1,950 maybe is retail. Comes in multiple colors, multiple configurations, but that's definitely my number 5.
Yeah. And just to tag on to what you just said, that Solargraph movement is made in conjunction with Le Jeux Perret, so it's a kind of a cool collaboration. And recently, TAG actually bought a minority share in Le Jeux Perret to kind of guarantee that they were going to be able to continue having this movement for years to come. It's awesome. The idea that you're going to get 10 to 15 years out of it before you have to change the capacitor. And it's also kind of neat where they released different versions of this watch in tandem to different Formula One Grand Prix. So it's a fun watch. It's a little bit different, a little bit off the beaten path from what we had come to kind of expect from TAG, but mm-hmm. I like it. It's a cool piece for sure. My number 5 is the Omega Railmaster, and it's just, it's a watch that when I saw, it's a beige dial, man.
Yeah, it is.
There's not very many beige watches that are cool, but this one with the sub-seconds is just really neat. So stainless steel, 38 millimeter case, it's got 150 meters of water resistance, brown leather strap that's kind of like tobacco colored, if you will, mm-hmm. And it's got a deployant clasp. It just really, really is kind of a dressy feel, but at the same time, you're getting that 150 meters of water resistance. You've got kind of a sporty watch that doesn't necessarily have to be a dress watch. It's powered by the coaxial master chronometer Calibre 8804. It's got a 55-hour power reserve, and it beats at 25,200 vibrations per hour, or 3.5 hertz, which should sound familiar after we did that Longines video recently, because it's a beat rate that Swatch Group uses a lot in their movements. Really impressive watch, though. So to achieve master chronometer status, it's got to go through the METAS certification. So it's got to run at a minimum of +5 -0 seconds per day. So not losing any time, gaining no more than 5 seconds in a day. It's got to be able to stand up to 15,000 Gauss of magnetism, which translates to being what you experience in an MRI machine, which is just, wow. I would love to find the hospital that's going to let you actually wear it through there, but it would be interesting to just, check up and make sure that it doesn't magnetize on you. But great watch, runs $6,400 on the strap. And I would say that it's got to be my favorite Omega release since 2019 when they came out with the DeVille Tresor with that textured kind of blue jean style dial on the blue strap. So really, really cool piece. What do you think about it, Rob?
Zach, it is my favorite release from Omega this year by far. And, you know, I'm just a little over a year back into watches. But I tell you, I was super excited the second I heard that was coming back out with the Railmaster. And a lot of people may not realize, of course, I guess most of our viewers probably do. I'm the guy that doesn't realize all these things. But that it's under the Seamaster catalog, we'll say. And, you know, Omega has this massive, massive catalog of watches. We all know that. But the Railmaster was the one that I was kind of like, man, I really wish they would bring it back out. I just love anything railroad stuff, right? But at the end of the day, when it came back out, I was like, man, they just nailed this one, in my opinion. To me, it looks great online, but if you can get to a store and see it in hand, to me, it even exceeds your expectation. And that strap has a lot to do with it too. They just flat nailed the color.
Yeah.
I think tobacco is probably a good a good reference on that color, but they nailed that in my opinion. So my next pick, which is my number 4 on my list, is a Nomos. I'm gonna have to read this, sorry guys. The Club Sport Neomatik Worldtimer Limited Edition. Quote unquote, bad name, cool watch, as Paul from our team said when we were writing this out, which I thought was hilarious. And it's so true. It's like, what? Can we throw any more names on this thing? However, it is just an awesome, awesome watch. For $5,200 basically, you have a 40 millimeter case, 100 meters water resistance. They have 2 permanent forms of this watch, we'll say, configurations, and they came out with 6 limited. Of course, the 6 limited sold out almost immediately because they made such a small amount. By the time they sent them out to all the stores, they were basically sold out from day one, right? Immediately.
175 pieces, so it went quick.
Yeah, and they could have sold 1,700 pieces probably of each, right?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. But I will say this about it: the ones that are in the permanent rotation are still beautiful watches.
They are.
They're great watches. I think my favorite, though, if they were all laying here and I got to pick, probably the Jungle, or I'm gonna go with the Jungle. I think the Jungle is my favorite, but good luck getting one. Like I said, 175. They went to people that want to keep them. That's not necessarily. They're not even really that many on the secondary market. Like, people weren't really buying that to flip. They were buying that to put on their wrist and wear.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that. Like, that kind of. At first, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to pay up for this and get on secondary market, and you couldn't really find many. But then I was like, well, that's actually cool. I want to see more of that. I want to see the guy that buys the watch or the girl that buys the watch is buying it as a gift or buying it to put on their wrist versus trying to make a couple $100, right? Yeah. All that does is keep it out of the people that really want to wear it, you know? So that's my next one. Zach, what's your thoughts on that watch?
Well, 100% bad name, cool watch. So that I second that or third that, really, since it was a Paul quote. But I would say it's an impressive piece. You know, 100 meters of water resistance for a Worldtimer is a rarity. Yeah. You're getting a in-house automatic caliber with hand finishing for what I want to say it was a hair over $5,000. I think you said so. I mean, it's really impressive watch for the money. I have the Ahoy in my personal collection. I love it. I think that Nomos is doing a really, really great job with their timepieces, and it's just 100% just an impressive watch, for sure.
I just don't think there's a Worldtimer out there in the $5,200 range that even plays ball with it. I think it's, in my opinion, it's at least one of the top 2, I'll say, that's out there.
Two I agree on.
Yeah, 2.
I mean, I think my Frederic Constant wins.
I agree.
You know what?
I agree. And you know, because that's a beautiful watch too. But so there we go. So Zach, what do you have for your second one?
So my number 4
number
pick,
4.
Yeah, my number 4 pick is the Christopher Ward 12660. And, you know, most of the watches I want to say in what I had on this short list are going to be far higher price point. But this thing was just, it was such a cool piece. I remember seeing the article on, I want to say Hodinkee when it first came out. But it's just a really, really impressive watch. So stainless steel, it's 38 millimeters. But the case is 6.6 millimeters thick, hence the 660 reference. So it is just a incredibly thin watch. It's only got 30 meters of water resistance, but again, it's a watch that you know, we're looking at something that's just ultra thin. It's kind of on the dressy side. It's just a sweet watch, integrated bracelet. The one that I liked had a muted green dial, and it was just a really good look in my opinion. Its manual wind movement is an Elevore grade Solid SW210 1B to be precise. It's got a 42-hour power reserve that beats at 4 hertz or 28,800 vibrations per hour. So it's not necessarily anything really spectacular there, other than just the thinness that we got.
Yeah.
Because when we're talking about a brand that comes in at a pretty reasonable price, and this watch retails at $19.05 on the bracelet, you don't generally get ultra thin or thinness at all, really. It's going to be that thick, run-of-the-mill automatic that's in every other watch in that price point out there. So really impressive stuff. You know, it's something that when I sat down to do this list, and it came out I think months ago now, it immediately came to the top of my mind. It's a cool piece. I can't wait to actually get my hands on one. Hopefully I'll get to see one in the metal soon, but that was my number 4. Rob, what did you think about it?
I love Christopher Ward. I only have one in my collection, but I tell you, I love that company. I love that watch. I would definitely like to add it to my collection sometime. That thinness is legit. Like that is something to be super proud of. I tell you, as I think about Christopher Ward, here's where my mind goes. No, you don't get every bell and whistle with them. You're not going to get the greatest power reserve, but your price point is insane with them for what you do get. To me, I have one hope. If Christopher Ward is listening, please, please, please don't sell out and become into one of these other larger, groups. Stay yourself and keep doing what you're doing. The rate that they put out super cool stuff has been absolutely amazing in my opinion. So to me, I think they are one company that does really, really cool stuff way faster than most of these other 100-year-old companies and plus. So to me, keep doing what you're doing. I think the thinness was something that they were kind of missing maybe in their catalog, and the manual wound was cool. Great watch for the value for sure. So as we're making our way through the list, we would love for y'all to take just a second, like, share, subscribe, comment. Tell us what your favorite watch that came out this year is. And also you could throw in there what you'd like to see next year. We'd love to get our ideas around that, what may be coming up. So I'm gonna get into my next one, which is my number 3. So for my number 3, I'm gonna go back to Rolex. That's what I'm wearing now, but I tell you, the next one I am on the list for, and this was a hot take for a lot of people, but for me, I absolutely love this watch and I cannot wait to get hands-on with it. But it's the Rolex Land Dweller. It's around $15,350. They put the Calibre 7135 in it, 66-hour power reserve. One thing that I love about this watch is that Rolex decided to do the open case back. And to me, I am so glad to see that, and I would love if Rolex would keep doing that more and more. Some people don't like them, but I think that for me, hands down, I would rather to be able to see my movement than not see my movement, and I think any watch nerd is like, but I want to see the movement, but you sure can't open that thing up, you just can't do it. So to me, I love that I can flip that thing over, grab a loop, jump down on it and take a look at it. Zach, what's your opinion about that watch? No. Obviously, we hadn't got hands-on with this one yet.
Yeah, well, I got to.
Oh, okay.
But it was, it's an interesting watch. It was cool to see that Rolex, that maybe they were 20 years later than some of the other
minor
brands
details,
out there.
Man. Minor details.
But they finally jumped into some new technology and brought it to that next level, I would say. So, look, it's a cool watch. It's really neat with the integrated bracelet style and the whole side of things there. But that movement is actually pretty. It's no, you're not necessarily getting hand finishing on it or anything like that, but it is a well decorated movement, and it's an impressive watch. And I would say that while I still get more phone calls about Submariners and Daytonas and stuff like that, there's a lot of people that are looking to get hands-on with that Sky Dweller. So I think it really created some even more interest in Rolex than we had before. So it's a neat watch. I definitely think it's a great one to add to your collection when we finally get our hands on one at the store. But
so it's not a PRX, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, no, it's not a PRX, that's for sure. It only has a 66-hour power reserve. It doesn't have 80.
That's right. It's a step below it.
Yeah.
Sell that
Yeah,
one.
but everything else is better, I promise you.
Excellent. What's your next one?
Rob, my number 3 pick is the Oris Big Crown Calibre 113. So no surprise there. We really have a kind of a soft spot with this one because it is our #1 performing YouTube short. It was the first video of any form that we had go over 1,000 views. So, and we got to have the honor of launching or announcing the launch of that watch. So it was fun. So the Calibre 113, stainless steel, comes on a bracelet, 43 millimeter case, 50 meters of water resistance, and you know this dial. It's just amazing. It's a green dial, pink subdials. You've got a date. You've got a small seconds. You've got a non-linear power reserve, and you've got kind of a quirky 52-week pointer date or pointer week really complication that they call a business calendar. So
right.
I mean, you've got it all on that dial. It's just it is a lot of information, but it kind of comes across, at least to me, in sort of a cleaner presentation, if you will. But and then the Calibre 113, it's based on the Calibre 110. It is just incredible, manually wound movement that has 240-hour power reserve. So we're talking a 10-day power reserve, beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour, which is 3 hertz. And it's just a really, really sweet watch. Comes in at $8,100. Me personally, I would immediately ditch the bracelet and put it on a strap. I just think that watch belongs on a strap. But it is, you know, probably my favorite release from Oris in the last, I don't know, 4 years maybe. It's a really, really cool piece for sure.
I totally agree, at least in the last 4 years. I mean, you've got insane power reserve. I think it's probably it's one of the coolest dial configurations I've ever seen color-wise. I love a pointer date or, you know, pointer complication in anything. I think is just awesome. Bringing back that caliber or building off of an older caliber, that was a great one to pick. And it's an Oris. I mean, come on, there's no way that we're not going to like that watch.
Yeah.
It's just an awesome, awesome watch. I really hope that my wife is watching this and finds $8,000 in a cushion somewhere and orders that for me.
Yeah. Well,
but it's. I agree. It needs to be on a strap though, for sure, a leather strap.
And if she does, when we filmed our Oris deep dive video like 3 months ago or something, I think we had like 8 Orises at the time, and now we're up to 10, so that would make number 11. So clearly it's just a brand that you know, we really love and believe in for sure.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Rob, now
Yes,
we're getting down to the final 2. So Rob, what is your number 2 pick for 2025?
So I definitely went fun on this next one. So I'm going to hold something up and let's see if it tells the tale on my next one. Bada boom, bada bang. We're going all in, God tier. Casio and Back to the Future. What more could you need in life, right? Someone start popping the popcorn. So for me, it is this watch right here. Absolutely love the Back to the Future watch. It's got, you know, the color dials on the front, the color on the front with your calculator. Casio put on the back, it's got the flux capacitor, which is really, really cool. And they did the colors on the calculator to kind of match the gauges in the car of the DeLorean for sure,
Yep.
which is just an awesome car to begin with, right? Okay, it's actually a horrible car, but you know what I'm saying if you were in the 80s and watching this movie, we all wanted one of those spaceships. So it's sold out literally in minutes. You know, I guess it's a two-edged sword. We were speaking earlier about limited runs on the Nomos, and you know, me personally, I always am like, you know, these things are going to sell out so fast. Just make a little bit more. But this watch was $200, and now I think they're like $800, $1,000, something like that on the secondary market. And that kind of irritates me because you know people were doing it just to make make a buck off of it. In my opinion, is go make a buck somewhere else and let people, you know, I can think of 2 kids right now that I would love to buy that watch for and give them as gifts. $200, that's possible. $1,000 each to kids that aren't mine, probably not going to happen. I'm sorry, I love y'all, but come on. So to me, you know, it brings me back to that time frame. Everybody wanted to be Marty McFly in that. Retailed around $2,000. It has case size. It's kind of odd. It's 43.2, and then it's 34.4. So it's narrow, but it is the calculator watch. It is quartz, 5-year. Everybody wanted to wear the black version, the original version of that watch, which is also a great watch, which you can get for a reasonable price. So that was my wild card out of the list, and just a total fun geek out watch. Zach, I know you're not a big quartz fan. What's your thoughts on this watch?
Man, it's a cool piece of a nod to pop culture. I think the packaging is cool with kind of the VHS look to it, so that is really cool. So now to stay in kind of the same tiers as what you just talked about, we're going to talk about Blancpain. So my number 2.
Very, very similar.
Yeah, same kind of thing. Apples and oranges. So they listened. We finally got a more wearable size of the 50 Fathoms that wasn't like limited production or you know, hard to get your hands on. This is just something that is made on a regular basis. So 38.2 millimeter case. It's got a 300 meter water resistance. You've got the one that I like has a rubber strap, and it's on a deployant class, specifically in steel. But it's just, you know, it's that gorgeous 50 Fathoms that we've all come to know and love. It's got a sapphire capped bezel, that beautiful black dial. It's a great watch. It's powered by the Calibre 1150. Automatic movement, beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour, so 3 hertz. It's got a 100-hour power reserve, and it's just, you know, it's that iconic watch. It's now in a size that you know, men or women can wear. It's unisex, and it's just a great piece. So the first time that I saw this watch was actually the exact same day that I saw the Oris that I picked up after so many years of thinking about it. It was 2013. I'm at a Tourneau outlet in Orlando, and they had a 50 Fathoms in there on one of the, I want to say it was like a sailcloth strap, and I just had this moment with that watch, right? Like it was so cool. But the reason the Oris stuck and the Blancpain didn't is because it was just so big. It kind of just, you know, it missed the mark because it was, oh my gosh, it's like a clock on my wrist. And they finally fixed that. You're getting a beautifully finished movement. You're getting just a wonderful watch in general. And yes, it is expensive as all get out. Comes in at $20,200 on the deployant class, but it is just, you know, it's an awesome piece, and it is something that when I add Blancpain to my collection, it will be that watch. So Rob, what are your thoughts on it?
So I normally like 40 to 42, but I am so glad to see they came out at the 38 because I understand completely that there is a massive amount of people that don't have as thick a wrist as I have. I have very large wrists. I totally get it. If I had smaller wrists, I would be 38s all day long. I will say this. I think that the bezel from a look standpoint, so strictly cosmetic, I think the Blancpain is one of the 50 Fathoms is one of the most beautiful dive watches out there. Is one of my favorites by far. This is probably the only critical thing I'll say on this whole, you know, show is I just wish that price wasn't that price. I think that, man, it's when you get to $20,000, 18 to 25 grand, there's just so many amazing watches to pick from that I think it just really, it's like they're in the wrong category in my mind. So when I think about getting a really cool dive watch, my brain goes 10 to 15 grand or 8 to 15 grand. That price range is where my mind goes. So when you get above 15 grand, to me, my brain just goes back to there's so many cool ones under that I can spend 11 grand and then go get another cool watch on top of it. Having said all of that, it is if money was just no obstacle, I would go buy that watch tomorrow. It is an absolute beautiful, beautiful design. And it's been around forever. You know, we're talking, what, 70-something years that watch has been out, which is crazy. But it's, once again, the bezel on that particular watch, to me, is arguably my favorite. So I love the watch. I just wish the price point was just a little bit lower. So,
but that's the price of you know, playing in the league of Blancpain.
That's correct.
Yep.
And I've seen them before in person, and I will say this, you won't be disappointed. There are other $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 watch I've seen in person, and I remember thinking, there's just no way. I mean, why would anybody spend that on this? I didn't get that feeling about it. Like, when I got hands-on with it, I was like, I'm not saying it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I'm saying, to me, it's hard. You know, and not everybody's at my price range. A lot of people have a way, way, way more money than me to spend on watches, but I don't think anybody would be disappointed. It's a gorgeous watch. Most important thing of the whole deal, they're listening to the customers. They're listening to the customers. So,
and you know, they kind of trolled us too when they first rolled it out. I want to say it was like the week before they rolled out the regular one. They came out with a pink one.
Yeah,
and there were a lot of people going, "Oh my gosh! Like you finally came out with the size that we've all been kind of asking for, and you make it pink."
And you make it pink.
And then they rolled out the you know, the mainstay, if you will. So Rob, drum roll please. Number one.
Okay.
What is your number one for the year?
All right, I'm going to take this one off and put it on. I have it right here. It came out early 2025. My Tudor Blancpain Blue Flamingo, hands down, my favorite watch of 2025. Honestly, by a lot. I just love this watch. I wear it constantly, and I think I wear it probably number 2 behind my Rolex James Cameron, which was my anniversary watch. But I love wearing this watch. My thoughts when I first got it, and I mentioned this before, but you know, used to go to Miami for business an awful lot, and it is, you know, that is part of Miami's colors. But I will say that my first thought was, man, am I going to be able to wear that and it match outfits? Because you and I had this conversation that kind of bugs both of us if our watch doesn't match. But the cool thing about this style is, you know, going into it, you're not going to match. So you just don't try to match it. You just wear it with complementary colors, or black obviously goes perfect with it. So for me, I don't even care. I just love this watch. When I am wearing it, you definitely watch people's eyes go to that dial and they're wondering kind of what that is. Or if you're around watch people, there's a great chance it may be the only one they've ever seen in the wild and be able to lay hands on. So I've taken this watch off and handed it to people to look at way more than any other watch I own. And it is cool. It is just a really cool color. I feel very fortunate that I got to get one. I do want to pick up the pink one at some point. But let's get into a little bit of the numbers on it. If you can get one, they're $6,350. It is a 41 millimeter case diameter, which that's good for a lot of people, you know, especially us larger wrist people. Calibre MT 5813. It does have the 70-hour power reserve. It just feels great. It is an easy wearing watch. And if you haven't got to see one in person, I hope you get to. And if you get a chance to buy one at a reasonable price, I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. I have no idea what they go for in a secondary market. Like I said, I was able to buy mine locally here from a dealer from Reed's at a Tudor event, and I love it. I wear it all the time. So what do you think about this one?
Rob, it is just such a cool, you know, watch for sure, and it built more interest than I've seen from Tudor in a long time. You know, they were already ramping up, but that took it to a whole new level. You cannot imagine the phone calls, volume of phone calls that we took on that watch. But I think it's a great caliber. You know, you have a gorgeous bracelet paired with that. I want to say that one and the pink one were the first two that came out with that 5-link bracelet, as opposed to the 3-link kind of oyster style bracelet. But it's just a great look. It's a fun watch. It is a fun watch. It's a watch that makes a lot of people smile when they're not extremely angry over not being able to get it, of course. But you know, it is just a wonderful addition to the collection. I know that you were really, really excited about that when it came out, and I'm so glad that we were able to find one for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I reached out to you the day it came out, I believe, or maybe the night. Anyway, it was right after And at first I thought it was just rumors. I didn't even think it was actually really coming out. And I'm like, hey, is this thing really coming out? You're like, yeah, it looks like it really is. And so, like I said, very, very fortunate to get it. But get hands-on with it if you can, for sure. All right, Zach, what's your last one, buddy?
Rob, my final pick is the Zenith G.F.J, the G.F.J.
Say that 5 times.
Yeah. So we know, I did earlier, we know that I like dressy watches, and this one is definitely kind of in that dressier category. So it was a 160-piece limited edition that they did as a tribute to G.F.J, who was the founder of Zenith. It represents the rebirth of the 135 caliber after 63 years. So why is that important? Well, the 135 caliber holds the record for being the only watch caliber to win the Neuchâtel Observatory chronometer competition for 5 years in a row. It actually won from 1950 to 1954. It's got a 39 millimeter case in platinum. It's got a 50 meter water resistance, which is, nice, a little bit above average for a dress watch. And it comes standard on a strap, but then it's got this optional bracelet, and that caused quite a stir when it first came out or was first announced. But we'll get back to that in a minute. The dial features a brick motif G.F.J stamped on the outer periphery. It's got a lapis lazuli center and a blue mother of pearl subdial for the small seconds. And as I alluded to earlier, it's got the Calibre 135 in it, which is a manually wound 18,000 vibration per hour, so 2.5 hertz movement, giving it an extra 32 hours of power reserve for a total of 72 hours. It's got hacking seconds, and it's regulated to an impressive +2, -2 seconds per day. With all that said, it was the 2025 G.F.J Chronometry Prize winner for excellent timekeeping, and its unique, oversized balance wheel offering exceptional timekeeping stability. So, not only is this just a cool return from the past for the 135 movement, which is the most, decorated, at least in a row, movement that they've ever had in the Neuchâtel chronometry trials, but, it's something that they modernized, and it was impressive enough to be this year's G.F.J chronometry prize winner. So impressive stuff.
Absolutely.
Really, really cool piece. It seems to be sold out, so you're not going to be able to find it, unfortunately, but the original MSRP was $49,900, and that bracelet that I mentioned earlier has a retail of $53,000. So the bracelet option is more than the actual watch itself, which is incredible. So one more thing I want to touch on before I turn it back over to you, Rob, is they've got this brick motif around the outer periphery of the dial, right?
Yep.
Well, G.F.J was so, driven by a desire for fully vertical integration that he started his own, I guess this is what a brick foundry, what would you call it? But a brick factory, we'll say, to the point where they were making their own bricks for their buildings, which is why we've got that pattern on there. So, maybe, just maybe, Hans Wilsdorf from Rolex was taking notes, and that's how we ended up with what Rolex is today. But, man, it's just a cool watch. Never going to see one in the metal, probably, but I would love to. Love to add it to my collection, but that's one that's going to be so rare. I don't think I even need to
I don't know,
try.
man. Never say never. Stranger things have happened, and I think that all of us need to pick a watch or two that we feel like we probably never see, have less get an opportunity to buy because stranger things have happened. Like I said, to me, in my personal opinion, I think the Zenith is hands down one of the most overlooked and underrated watch brands out there. That's Rob's opinion. I think there'll be a lot of people that would agree with me on that. I know I have one of my closest friends is a massive Zenith fan, a big watch guy, been buying watches for years and years and years, and recently got into Zenith and has had nothing but the highest praises to say. And this guy owns it all. He's owned it all, and I've bought watches from him over the years. So At any rate, I think that it being in precious metal is gorgeous, is a great thing. And I'm going to say I don't think the watch is overpriced, and that's hard for me to say that, but I don't. I think that, now the bracelet, to each their own, but to me, that blue is gorgeous. The small second hand is gorgeous. I love the brick. I just think it's a great design. I think it's a dress watch that I hands down would love to wear, you know, and I'm not a big dress watch guy, but I don't think anybody can really look at that watch and go, yeah, I just don't like it. I don't know what you would not like about it. It may not be your favorite, but to say, no, I wouldn't wear that.
And I would be doing Zenith a disservice if I did not mention that $53,000 platinum bracelet is a bespoke bracelet specifically for you. So it's not like this is a mass-produced bracelet or anything like that. And that brick motif is actually throughout the entire bracelet, which it's impressive. It just brought that thing up over $100,000.
Absolutely. But you know what? For the right person out there, God love you. Run with it. For everyone that is still with us, we know this was a long video. We truly appreciate every one of y'all staying and watching. Once again, please hit a like button, a subscribe button. Leave us in the comments which of our watches you like, whether it's one of Zach's or one of mine, and what you liked about 2025 watches. We can't wait to see what comes out 2026. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see you soon.